interesting facts about famous people.
Top 20 Western actors of all time. This is my attempt to create a video of the top 20 Western actors of all time that epitomizes the best that the Western genre has thrown at us. Of course, this is not a complete list. We will all have our own idea of our own favourites. Let's say this is a good start, okay? I know you will let me know in the comments who is missing. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it. Starting the countdown with Lee Marvin. Born Lamont Waltman Marvin Jr., otherwise known as Lee Marvin, was an American actor, famous for his deep voice and premature white hair, best remembered for playing tough guy characters. Initially typecast as the Heavy, he gained fame for portraying anti-heroes. Lee played in more than 20 Western movies in his career. A few notable mentions are The Comancheros, 1961, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, Cat Ballou, 1965, The Professionals, 1966, and Paint Your Wagon, 1969. Gene Autry. Orvin Grover Gene Autry, 1907 to 1998. The Singing Cowboy was a songwriter, singer, musician, actor, rodeo performer, and baseball team owner who gained fame by singing in a crooning style on radio, films, and television for over 3 decades, starting in the early 30s. Autry appeared in 93 films from 1934 to 1953. Between 1950 and 1956, hosted The Gene Autry Show on TV. During the 30s and 40s, he represented the straight-shooting hero, brave, honest, and authentic. Robert Duvall. Robert Selden Duvall, born in 1931, is an American actor and filmmaker. His career spans more than 7 decades, and he is considered one of the greatest American actors of all time. The recipient of many awards, a natural in the saddle and Western movies. He has made his mark on this genre. A few notable movies: Geronimo, An American Legend, 1993, True Grit, 1969, Joe Kidd, 1972, The Great Northfield Minnesota Raid, 1972, Lawman, 1971, Lonesome Dove, 1989, Open Range, 2003. Tom Mix. Thomas Edwin Mix, born Thomas Hezekiah Mix, 1880 to 1940, was the star of many early Western films from 1909 to 1935, appearing in 291 films. All but 9 were silent films. Hollywood's first Western star, defined the genre in the early days of the cinema. Burt Lancaster. Burton Stephen Lancaster, 1913 to 1994, was an American actor and producer, known for playing tough guys with a tender heart. He achieved success with complex and challenging roles over a 45-year career in film, winner of many awards. Very comfortable in the Western genre, having spent some time here. A few notable movies: Veracruz, 1954, Gunfight at the OK Corral, 1957, The Professionals, 1966, Lawman, 1971, Ulzana's Raid, 1972, Buffalo Bill and the Indians, 1976. Audie Leong Murphy, 1925 to 1971, was an actor and songwriter. He was one of the most decorated American combat soldiers of World War II. He received every military combat award for valor available from the United States Army. Murphy was born into a large family of sharecroppers in Hunt County, Texas. After the war, Murphy embarked on a 21-year acting career. Most of his roles were in westerns. Starring in the series Whispering Smith, Murphy was a fairly accomplished songwriter. He bred quarter horses in California and Arizona and became a regular participant in horse racing. A few of his western roles of note are No Name on the Bullet, 1959, Whispering Smith, 1961, 7 Ways from Sundown, 1960, Ride Clear of Diablo, 1954, Tumbleweed, 1953, and Gunsmoke, 1953. Steve McQueen. Born Terence Stephen McQueen, 1930 to 1980. His anti-hero persona, emphasised during the height of the counterculture of the 60s, made him a top box office draw for his films of the late 50s, 60s and 70s, nicknamed the King of Cool. No stranger to many genres of film, very comfortable in westerns, thankfully for us. A few notable movies: The Magnificent Seven, 1960, Nevada Smith, 1966, Junior Bonner, 1972, and Tom Horn, 1980. Roy Rogers. Leonard Franklin Sly, 1911 to 1998. Was known as an actor, singer, and television host. His nickname was the King of Cowboys. He appeared in more than 100 films and many television and radio episodes of The Roy Rogers Show. Many of his films and television episodes, he also appeared with his wife, Dale Evans, his Golden Palomino, Trigger, and Bullet, his German Shepherd. His show ran on radio for 9 years and then on television from 1951 to 57. His earlier roles were uncredited in films by fellow cowboy singing star Gene Autry. His productions usually featured a sidekick, often Andy Devine, Pat Brady, George Gabby Hayes, or Smiley Brunette. His later years, he allowed his name to be used in the franchise chain of Roy Rogers restaurants. Robert Mitchum. Born Robert Charles Durham Mitchum, 1917 to 1997. He rose to prominence with an Academy Award nomination for the Best Supporting Actor for The Story of G.I. Joe, 1945. Starring in several classic film noirs, his acting is generally considered a forerunner of the anti-heroes prevalent in film during the 1950s and 1960s. Mitchum probably wouldn't have gone as far as he did without his work in the Western genre. A few notable movies: Pursued, 1947, El Dorado, 1966, The Way West, 1967, The Good Guys and the Bad Guys, 1969. Walter Brennan. Walter Andrew Brennan, 1894 to 1974, was an actor and singer. He won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his performances in 1936's Come and Get It, 1938's Kentucky, and 1940's The Westerner. One of only 3 male actors to win these 3 Academy Awards, the only actor or actress to win 3 awards in the Supporting Actor category. He was also nominated for his performance in 1941's Sergeant York. Other worthy performances were 1944's To Have or Have Not, 1946's My Darling Clementine, 1948's Red River, and 1959's Rio Bravo. Henry Fonda. This remarkable, soft-spoken American began in films as a difficult juvenile. With passing years, he matured into a star character actor who exemplified not only integrity and strength, but an ideal of the common man fighting against social injustice and oppression. Perfect for a Western movie. A few notable movies: The Oxbow Incident, 1942, Fort Apache, 1948, How the West Was Won, 1962, The Cheyenne Social Club, 1970, My Name is Nobody, 1973. Undoubtedly one of the greatest screen cowboys of all time. Scott rivaled the best of the greatest stars of the genre, making 62 westerns. In 1947, Randolph Scott made a decision. He would only make westerns. He had tried his hand at other genres. He tried comedy and held his own in war films, but he always seemed an outsider. He had started in westerns in 1932 and by 47 had already done 24 of them. It is telling that in Blazing Saddles, whenever his name is mentioned, the cowboys doff their hats and bow their heads. Here are some of Randolph's most notable westerns. The Last of the Mohicans, 1936. During the French and Indian War, the legendary scout Hawkeye is called upon to escort Major Duncan Haywood and the 2 daughters of Fort William Henry Commander Colonel Munro, Alice and Cora. Virginia City, 1940. Union officer Kerry Bradford escapes from Confederate prison and is sent to Virginia City, Nevada, where he finds out that the former commander of his prison, Vance Irby, is planning to send $5 million in gold to save the Confederacy. Hangman's Knot, 1952. A Confederate major and his troops are falsely led to believe the Civil War is not over, and become wanted men after they attack a Union Army wagon train in Nevada. 7 Men from Now, 1956. A former sheriff blames himself for his wife's death during a Wells Fargo robbery and vows to track down and kill the 7 men responsible. Ride Lonesome, 1959. A bounty hunter, Randolph Scott, escorts a killer, James Best, to be tried for murder, but allows the man's outlaw brother, Lee Van Cleef, to catch up with them to have a showdown over a previous murder. Comanche Station, 1960. A man saves a woman who had been kidnapped by Comanches, then struggles to get both of them home alive. James Stewart. Known for his distinctive drawl and everyman screen persona, Stewart's film career spanned 80 films from 1935 to 1991. With the strong morality he portrayed both on and off screen, he epitomised the American ideal in the mid-20th century. He brought a sincere honesty to his Western movies. A few notable movies: Broken Arrow, 1950, The Man from Laramie, 1955, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, The Shootist, 1976. Francis Benjamin Johnson Jr., 1918 to 1996, was a film and television actor, stuntman, and world champion rodeo cowboy. Johnson brought authenticity to many roles in westerns with his droll manner and expert horsemanship. Here are some interesting facts about Ben Johnson. Born in Oklahoma, the son of a rancher and rodeo performer. In 1940, Howard Hughes hired him to take a load of horses to California. He stuck around, the pay was good, and for some time was a stuntman, horse wrangler, and doubled for stars such as John Wayne, James Stewart, and Gary Cooper. His big break came when John Ford noticed him and gave him a part in a film. The Last Picture Show won Johnson the 1971 Academy Award, BAFTA Award, and Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor. Johnson also operated a horse breeding ranch throughout his career. Although he said he had succeeded by sticking to what he knew, shrewd real estate investments made Johnson worth an estimated $100 million in his later years. Gary Cooper, a stoic American actor known for his strong, quiet screen persona and understated acting style. He was one of the top 10 film personalities for 23 consecutive years and one of the top money-making stars for 18 years, a natural in westerns. A few notable movies: The Westerner, 1940, Unconquered, 1947, Vera Cruz, 1954, The Hanging Tree, 1959.
And my own true love, she walked with me.
Gregory Peck was a multi-talented actor that could turn his hand to just about any movie genre. Today, we are taking a look at his Western movies, made between the 40s all the way up to the 1970s. Let's get started.
Coming up.
Jewel in the Sun, 1946. Biracial Pearl Chavez becomes the ward of her dead father's first love and finds herself torn between two brothers, one good and the other bad. Yellow Sky, 1948. A gang led by James Stretch Dawson, Gregory Peck, robs a bank, chased by soldiers, and chooses to cross the salt flats of Death Valley. After an arduous journey, collapses from heat and dehydration. The outlaws come upon a ghost town called Yellow Sky and its only residents, a tough young woman called Mike, Ann Baxter, and her prospector grandfather, James Barton. The Gunfighter, 1950. A reckless young cowboy deliberately provokes an argument with a notorious gunfighter, Jimmy Ringo, widely known as the fastest draw in the West, making him the target of every young gunslinger eager to become famous as the man who shot Ringo. Eddie draws his weapon. Ringo has no choice but to kill him. Eddie's three brothers seek revenge and pursue Ringo as he leaves town. Ringo ambushes and disarms them, driving off their horses. He tells them to walk back to town. Instead, they follow him on foot. The Bravados, 1958. Jim Douglas, Gregory Peck, is a rancher pursuing four outlaws he is convinced murdered his wife. He rides into Rio Arriba, where these four men are in jail awaiting execution for an unrelated murder. The sheriff allows Douglas to see the men. In town, Douglas happens upon Josefa Velada, Joan Collins, whom he met and fell in love with 5 years previously. She has been looking after her late father's ranch and has never married. Douglas reveals that he did marry, is now a widower, and that he has a daughter. Josefa later learns from a priest the truth of how Douglas's wife died. 1969. A bandit kidnaps a marshal who has seen a map showing a gold vein on Indian lands, but other groups are looking for it too, while the Apache tried to keep the secret location undisturbed. Shootout, 1971. A former bank robber, played by Peck, released from prison after 7 years, searches for his double-crossing partner who left him for dead during a robbery, while having to look after a 6-year-old girl left in his care. Clint Eastwood. An iconic actor, film director, producer, and composer. Achieving success in the Western TV series Rawhide, rose to fame with his role as the man with no name in Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy of spaghetti westerns during the mid-1960s, and as anti-hero cop Harry Callahan in the 5 Dirty Harry films throughout the 70s and 80s. Eastwood is an enduring cultural icon of masculinity. A few notable movies: A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, 1966, Two Mules for Sister Sarah, 1970, High Plains Drifter, 1973, The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976, Unforgiven, 1992. Glenn Ford made 27 westerns during his career. Here are some of those that I consider the best: Cowboy, 1958, 3:10 to Yuma, 1957, The Rounders, 1965, Jumbal, 1956, Fastest Gun Alive, 1956, The Sheepman, 1958, The Man from Colorado, 1948, The Violent Men, 1955, The Sackets, 1979, The Man from the Alamo, 1953, and one little-known and hard-to-find film, The Secret of Convict Lake, 1951. John Wayne. Nicknamed the Duke, a name adopted from his dog, an actor who became a popular icon through his starring roles in films made during Hollywood's golden age, especially in Western movies. He appeared in a total of 179 film and TV shows, consistently in the top box office for 3 decades. He shared the screen with many other Hollywood stars of his era. A few notable movies: The Big Trail, 1930, Stagecoach, 1939, Rio Grande, 1950, The Searchers, 1956, Rio Bravo, 1959, The Alamo, 1960, The Comancheros, 1961, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, True Grit, 1969, The Shootist, 1976.
Big bore Sharp's carbine might.
Richard Widmark, 1914 to 2008, was a stage and television actor and producer. Early in his career, Widmark was typecast in villainous or anti-hero roles in film noir, but he later branched out into more heroic leading and supporting roles in westerns, mainstream dramas, and horror films, amongst others. In 2002, he was inducted into the Western Performers Hall of Fame at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Widmark made a couple dozen Western movies. A few notables I'll mention here. Yellow Sky, 1948. Broken Lance, 1954. Garden of Evil, 1954. The Last Wagon, 1956. The Alamo, 1960. Two Rode Together, 1961. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.